She ain't gonna stand there doing ceremony.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to hour 2 of Vampire. The four of you, we last left off with the four of you leaving Mr. Sinclair's house. What do you do? Do you guys just kind of go on your way? Maybe like you said, maybe hit up just some rando dude to drink. Outside of that, you leave.
like,
Caligari's like, I'm out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Are you with Jimmy?
I need a drink.
All right, Callie. So you're off. You're just going, heading into your network, the sewers, and just going away for the night. Do you say goodbye? Or you just kind of like, I'm out.
gonna go in my alleyways. I have something. I have a question about sires. Is there any connection that we have in order to contact them, or is it just like?
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't have a phone, but you know Zigzag's normal places he likes to hang out, at least when he's okay with being contacted. Because Nosferatu in general are very secretive and they're information brokers. So finding him if he doesn't want to be found is near impossible, if not impossible.
Oh yeah.
But if he wants to be found or doesn't mind being found, you know a few places you could probably find him crawling around. Do you want to go find him tonight? Is that the plan?
I'm not even sure he's in town.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's only been like a day or a night.
It hasn't been.
So,
it's been only
he's
a couple
probably
days.
still around.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look for him.
Okay.
I'm gonna put out some feelers there, and like also just kind of like, talk to some more with them rats.
Yeah.
You know, like,
sure.
Establish the vermin rapport.
Yeah,
a little
of
bit more
course.
as well.
I'm sorry I did this. No problem. We'll get to that. We'll get to you in a bit. Then what's with the
Sure.
rest of the three of you doing
Sure.
as well? Just want to know where people are going for the night.
Before we leave the room, I want to go over to the table where he was grabbing drinks
Sure.
and use my spirit's touch.
See some memories, basically, of that bottle or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Make.
So it's wits occult aspects.
It's not versus anything, right?
Um.
Don't think so. It's just an inanimate object.
No.
Yeah. Cool.
It's occult. Where's my cult? All right. I'm not doing well on the rolls.
A success is a success. There's no blockers necessarily on it. It's not like an overwhelming success. So what you see is still muddied and maybe even out of place.
Yeah. A success is just yields a sense
Right.
of the previous handler owner identity.
Yeah.
As well as a reliable vision or sense of the memory in question.
Sure. So I mean, you grab what? Just one of the alcohol bottles that he was using to mix a drink, more or less.
Yeah, I'm specifically trying to see if there's a memory with that incorporates Lionel in it.
Absolutely. With that particular bottle and the way it's mixing, you don't see anything that the memories that come to you are very like sporadic and blurry. But you see Mr. Sinclair mixing a drink and he's having a conversation. He's having a conversation with what sounds like more than one person, but none of it's like 100% audible. It's muddied. It sounds like it's underwater. Words get cut off and whatnot. You kind of see behind him. But the two figures you can kind of see behind him are also blurry. However, one of them is a larger than average vampire person, whatever it ends up being, and that much you can gather. By large, I mean kind of like built, like a very built looking individual, in tip-top shape. And the other person, Swole's a great one. His muscles are lit. That one? No? Yeah, all right. And then the person next to him, again, no details other than kind of like a blurry silhouette, and the other person next to him doesn't stick out. But other than that, conversation, since this is something you're seeing now, is likely happened in the past night or two, maybe 3, you're not sure, but that's what you get.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so the three of you.
I pour a drink for Jimmy because he said he wanted a drink.
Sure.
and I come back. So it looks like I'm just getting him a glass, but really I was.
Yeah, you were doing your thing. Gotcha.
Actually, because you're a child, can it be like you pour like all the way to the top, like the whole thing? Like I got you this drink because like
Oh yeah.
doesn't know how much to
totally
invest.
sure.
And
sure.
it is like straight just vodka or whatever the hell you poured into it. There's no
Gin.
mix. It's
just like a glass of gin.
So Emmy comes out with this glass, like slightly spilling, and I'm assuming you hand it to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Two takes it. She's like, okay, great, let's hit the road.
So you go outside. That's
I'm taking it with me. I'm taking the glass with me.
That's fine. Caligari scuttles off, just like either says something or nothing, but heads off on her own thing. She doesn't say anything. She just scuttles off on her own. And the three of you get in the car. And do you guys have any conversation, or is there anything big happening between the three of you tonight, other than getting a drink and maybe filling up on something?
Whoa! You say three. I was gonna say, I'm just heading back. Like that's what I was saying originally. Like, oh, Callie, you with Jimmy, because I'm just going back to the apartment.
Okay.
So
Emmy going with you or
that's
no?
it. No, Emmy was with Jimmy, going for a drink.
Gotcha. So you're just doing your own
We're gonna
thing.
find some pervs.
Gotcha.
I'm doing nothing.
Yeah, you're doing
Like,
nothing.
legit.
Outside of you guys hunting some pervs, you're doing nothing as well, correct?
Just creeping on my family.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary for you.
Nothing weird.
Okay. All right, we'll cut to Caligari then. So Callie, you scuttle into the sewers, and the first thing you do is you want to see if you can get a hold of Zigzag. The way you typically do that is you send out some feelers, like you said. Maybe you'll send off a rat or two in one way. Somebody, maybe another Nosferatu you can ask some questions with. Eventually, after about 15, 20 minutes, one of the rats that you sent off comes back, and he looks up at you, and all he says is, Zigzag, Zigzag, Zigzag. Over and over and over again. And
I pat him on the head.
Yep. So typically that means where you sent that particular rat, which is kind of like in a back corner of one of the sewers, is where Zigzag is probably sitting. So
Hell yeah.
you head
I
that
go
way.
there.
Cool. You make your way over, and you actually see the sewers are nasty, just like, concrete tunnels with dirty water running through them. But this one little corner, Zigzag's one of his favorite spots. As he sits in his ripped leather jacket and his ripped jeans and stuff, he actually sits with one leg crossed over the other one, and he's got a book in one hand. He's sitting in like a beach chair, like a ripped up old ass beach chair from the 90s, and he's like lounging in it. And as sewer water kind of trickles and hits the tips of his toes, and he's got one foot dipped in a nasty puddle, and he's got one rat sitting by on one of his armrests as he is reading a book. As you get closer, you take a look at what book he's reading. And he's reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
I love him.
Is that 5?
Yeah, it's book 5.
It's book 5, yeah, and it's the most emo
behind,
one, so
okay.
it sort of feels like, is he enjoying it? No, I kind of make myself known. He already knows I'll be there.
Yep,
And the first
he was
thing
expecting you.
I drop 2 of the books of my stack to him, like maybe this would be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're mostly history,
Okay.
and something to do with political uprisings in the time of which he was lived in England.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So I was just like, maybe a thing. And he's probably already read it, actually. I didn't think about that. Fuck. God damn it. I can't impress him no matter what I do. So I kind of sit halfway in the puddle, just at his feet. Similar lounging, but first thing I say is just we killed Lionel.
He it takes one beat before all of a sudden he snaps the book shut, lowers the book from his face, and he actually has a very toothy grin, and he's like, "You motherfuckers did it then, huh?"
I guess we had to.
Oh, you don't gotta do anything.
Was that right? Were we supposed to?
Do you think it was right, Callie?
I don't know. I'm just doing what you tell me right now. She sniffles.
He actually gestures at that. He's like, "There's no more strings on these fingertips. You're not my puppet anymore, Callie."
No, I ain't asking for puppetry. I'm just...
You don't gotta do what I tell you. I could tell you to go kill somebody. You could tell me to go fuck myself. As far as I'm concerned, you're not under my tutelage anymore.
Yeah, but aren't we friends?
Oh, of course we're friends. We're friends. We'll be friends for as long as you want to be friends, Callie. What do you come to me?
She blushes a little bit. She feels a little, excited.
You come to me for a reason, and I figured you might be this way, which is why I made sure I was available for you tonight. You have questions,
awesome.
concerns, clearly. Talk, Callie. What's on your mind? What happened tonight? Tell me what happened. Every detail, every bloody last detail.
She does her best, but mostly the things that she focuses on in a primary sense were the Greek-ish. Yeah, was it Greek?
It was Greek.
The Greek orb,
Mhm.
like that got something going with
The
her.
minute you say that, he goes, "Did you bring me the Greek orb?"
Nah. We can go back and get it.
It's still in the graveyard. Oh, then it's long gone.
Yes.
Long gone.
It's not my fucking jam. I just hear. She brings out a couple of the glass shards as well,
Okay.
and discusses the windows and everything,
Cool.
and how she kind of put together the whole like Judas thing that was
Sure.
there, and she's just kind of looking for some kind of affirmation. Like, this isn't just politics. This is also a religion kind of experience,
Sure.
of which she knows less. And maybe there's some kind of overlap that,
Sure.
that she's missing. So she's looking for guidance there.
So as you're like laying out these broken pieces, like he'll reach out with his nasty, long, slimy fingers himself, and he'll play with them, and very purposely like cutting himself on them. Like he's doing it carelessly, like he's handling the glass carelessly. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really do any actual damage. He's a vampire. And he's kind of playing with them, and he's listening to you talk about Judas and these things, and and then after you're done, and like you said, looking for him as to like affirmation as to what's going on here, he smiles again, and he's got all these crooked, sharp teeth that just stick out of his mouth in unnatural ways, and he looks to you and he says, "Callie, what do you think you did tonight? The right thing or the wrong thing?"
She doesn't know.
Do you just sit there with a quizzical look on your face?
Kind of. I just look away, and then she says, I did the right thing because I smashed the windows before I left.
And I taught you well.
That's like as simple as she could have made it. Nah, I didn't bring you the orb, dude.
And
Like,
you've been under my tutelage for not even a year yet, Callie. You're still, in the grand scheme of things, barely a week old. If you were to be a mortal infant, you're nothing but a baby and an machination in a living thing that has been around for more time than any of us could really truly ever comprehend. It's just your first day. It's barely your first step. The thing about kindred society, though, is that things take a long time to take place. Plans get set in place, and maybe the first step of that plan doesn't even happen for 5 to 10 years. And the plan doesn't come to culmination for hundreds more after that. Through that time, you meet friends, make enemies, work together with your enemies, go against your friends. It's really something that is fluid. The 4 that you work with, or the 3 that you work with, the coterie that you currently belong to, if you still decide to stick with them, could be with you for a long, long time. But Callie, eventually everybody will turn their back on you one way or another. The question is, do you take that opportunity to stick a knife in the back that they present to you?
nah, I'm too strong for that. I'd just punch him.
He laughs at that. He laughs.
Again, he taught her very well.
Yeah, no, he his laugh is like one it's like gurgling, it's borderline coughing, but you know it's a laugh because you've been with him for a little while. You know it. But he laughs and he says, "The point, Callie, is that opportunities will arise. The question is, do you take those opportunities in your own hand, or do you hold on to it for a little while and wait to take advantage of it another time?"
So that's where the Lionel situation comes up.
No, I didn't say a damn thing about Lionel.
Yeah, but I can put stuff together.
You are smart. You are smart. I always thought you were very, very smart, Callie.
Right.
One of my favorite that I've ever sired.
Are you gonna fuck me over anytime soon?
He shrugs, but he still maintains a smile. Do
I
I
hope
have
not.
do I have a reason to, Callie?
No. But fuck, I don't know your business. Maybe
No, you don't know my business.
a lot of knives and backs, as far as you've just said. So
Knives and
Dunno.
backs is just part of the machine.
yeah, it is. She like calls to her rats and like
Yeah. Few come
now
scampering
it's
over.
like we're chilling. We're just like hanging out. We're just having like a little rat party.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so rats come scampering over. You guys have light conversation. Is there anything else you want to ask him or talk to him about while you have him here before the night ends?
Kind of.
Sure. Hit him.
She wants to know. She asks how to learn more about Lionel.
How to learn more about Lionel specifically?
Because he's not going to tell me directly, but it's one of those things that like I can research because I do that. So it's like I want to learn a little bit more about like that connection intrigued me.
Yeah, sure. He gives you a simple answer. How have you learned about anything, Caligari, since I've been with you?
I don't know. Apparently we murdered it and I looked at some walls. So reading walls and murder.
He actually kind of picks up the Harry Potter book and he kind of like tosses it at you.
By reading.
He winks.
Where do I go to read about this motherfucker?
He actually just lingers his gaze at you, but never says anything. He doesn't give you an answer. He doesn't shrug. He just maintains his really weird smile, and then after a few moments of silence, says, "Callie, I believe in you. You want answers,
Okay.
You'll find them.
Yeah.
You're Nosferatu, Callie. You have endless resources. Resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The three you walk with, they have their talents, they have their uses, but they're more useful to learn by.
Yeah. She plays with the little rat in her hands. She's making a little friend, doing that kind of stuff. And that's about it. We pass the time.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah. So eventually,
like a decompression from the fucking diablerie.
Yeah, no, he happily will just keep talking. He shoots the shit with you for the rest of the night, and until he decides it's time for him to go, or you decide it's time for you to go.
Yeah.
The night will end relatively unceremoniously for the four of you. Now, over the course of time, what is the plan? The four of you have over the course of X number of days?
I imagine that I would. So that first day I went home and like I said, I wanted to do the whole spying on the family thing and just be super introspective. Just like really think about a lot of shit. And finally when it comes to the conclusion, probably shortly after I wake up the next day or whatever,
sure,
I actually want to shoot a text out to Sinclair and say, could we meet?
Okay, sure. So you sent out a text to Sinclair. We'll get to that in a second. Jimmy and Emmy, do you have anything you want to do over the next few days?
I need blood.
So you want to basically go on the hunt?
Yes.
So the night before, we'll say you and Emmy did find each a person that you drained for however much you want. Other than, I'm assuming you don't plan on killing them because that's a bad thing. We'll say you each got four pips out of your individual humans.
Okay.
Works for me. Other than eating, is there something you guys were looking to do?
Well, I have some thoughts, but I think
hit me with the thoughts.
To think about them more.
Okay, that's fine. Jimmy, anything other than what's up?
Like the silhouettes of the people that I saw in my vision.
Mm-hmm.
Can I comprehend who those people might be, or no?
They did not look even remotely familiar. They did not look like any of the sires that you saw that night, or anybody else that you've run across,
or anybody that I've heard of through my call.
Right.
Nothing
that would recall. However, if it's you and Jimmy, what about you? Is it something you wanted to do?
Yes.
What are you thinking?
I want to drive. I think Jimmy wants to drive back out to that graveyard and find those Nosferatu we talked to.
Absolutely.
See, I was in the same boat. I was thinking that. But I wanted to find information that would be useful for them first, because they trade information. So in order for us to get something from them, I was on the same page as you. That's why I was like, I was actually thinking before we were gonna go do the whatever, like finding pervs, being like, you want to go on a detour?
Right.
The thing is, if you wanted to go on a detour that night, you wouldn't have been able to get there and get back before the sun rose. Jimmy would be fine. Okay. You would have a problem. Just because Jimmy can go into the ground.
Just bury her somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, you did dig up like a 2-foot grave of a little boy.
Aww.
Want a cuddle?
It's her boyfriend!
It's her boyfriend! That's right! I forgot! It's her boyfriend. Yeah,
she grabs the arm. I'll be Little Spoon.
she spends the night at her boy's place.
Oh, hell yeah. Tell Barris that. Where were you last night, Emmy? At a boy's house.
I smell the stench of a dead man on you.
I'm proud.
I'm proud.
Goodness.
Oh my god.
Okay, cool. Jimmy and Emmy, do you want to go together? Is that the plan then?
Yeah, if
Okay.
it was on Amy's mind, then I feel like the topic would have come up and we would have had that.
I'm assuming
conversation.
it's not going to happen the next night, maybe like a couple nights later, or do you want to go the next night?
Well,
So
I was
I think
hoping that there would be some like friendship bonding between Jimmy and I first.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll say, well, it takes place over the course of a couple days. Callie, you're going to be, my guess, now tell me if I'm wrong, is you're going to be researching heavily for the next few days. Getting your nose in any book you can get on, talking to whoever you can. So over the next few days, I'm going to have you make rolls. And I'm going to be looking for a cumulative number of successes to get the information that you may or may not be looking for.
Okay.
And those rolls specifically, since you are doing research, is going to be intelligence plus investigation. And this is Caligari. And then you have... Don't you have encyclopedic knowledge?
Encyclopedic knowledge.
Yeah, you're going to be rolling that. You're just going to roll
So
that as well.
That's a +1, right?
Yes. No, encyclopedic knowledge is a merit. It's not a specialization. I thought it was a merit, but it's just a specialization.
It is a merit.
I mean, the other way around. I thought it was a specialization, not a merit. It shouldn't give you +1.
Okay.
Shouldn't it be the +4? Or no?
Should it be +4?
Oh no! You know what? You're right.
Man.
I don't think so.
No, it's a
You're the
+1.
boss.
You are correct. It's a +1. I was right the first time around.
Okay.
So yeah, you're gonna add a +1 to that as well.
Because there's no ranks to it, so you just
So
like, get the.
we're gonna basically block out 3 days at a time where the four of you are more or less kind of getting your shit together, interacting with one another, kind of like figuring out what to do next. So I'm gonna want. That's good. I'm gonna want you to roll.
I read.
You do read. I want you to roll 3 times.
Read
Like I said,
the shit out
I'm
of
looking.
them.
I'm looking for a cumulative number of successes overall. So I want you to roll 3 times, representing the 3 nights that you spend basically the entire time just reading. Emmy and Jimmy, Barris, you sent the text off to Mrs. Sinclair.
Are you fucking kidding me?
This is her specialization, man.
No, this is amazing. I'm happy. It's 2
I
critical
mean,
successes.
I rolled similar dices for my shit, and I got like shit ass
That's
rolls.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Usually I roll terribly, but like this is. I think that the game just knows that I'm that fucking excited, and that I have all the time in the world to do it.
Yep. You
So it's
absolutely
like
do.
I can take my time. I can go for a snack. I can like chat with my rats,
Yep.
and then I can come back and actually get fucking down to it.
I
So,
very
like,
much-
you know, it's all about knowing yourself.
I very much imagine like Caligari in the sewers in one of her little hovels that is her own, with books strewn up to random pages all over the floor, some soaking in puddles, but you don't give a shit. You have random pages ripped out and like taped up to the concrete wall, and you're doing that whole like conspiracy thing where you got strings like leading to other ones, you got markers circled on certain things, you got other books like in your face. So we'll get to how many is that? You've got 13 successes all told right there, and I'll tell you
Holy shit.
Pretty
what.
bonkers.
Yeah, and we'll get to that here. Like,
I know all about Lionel, man. Like I just know everything.
It's gonna-
His
you're gonna-
last
gonna-
name-
spending 3 nights researching. It should be fun to find out what you find out. Jimmy and Emmy,
All right.
the two of you, you guys want to spend, like you said, kind of getting together, befriending one another more or less. So feel free, tell me how that goes down. What's the plan between the two of you?
So montage,
Montage me, baby. I'm ready.
Chicago suburbs,
Yeah.
laptop, computer, finding internet pedophiles, going to their houses and murdering them. That's how we bond.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I get
There you go.
like some charity virtue from this?
No, because you're still murdering a human. And if you're murdering, it's humanity rolls. So are we murdering them, or are we beating them up and drinking them, but leaving them
we're just
alive?
drinking their blood.
All right, that's
in an
fine.
alleyway.
that's a whole. Hey, that's better. That's fine. So you do that for what, a couple nights, and then on the 3rd night, you guys want to head off to the graveyard, basically.
I think so. Unless Emmy, you had like a role in mind for hunting down some information to trade to these.
Well, I was thinking that we would kind of work together because I think that Cal is probably going to be the one who's going to be getting the information that we need, right? That would be useful to use and bring back.
Okay.
But I was thinking we could go get that gem thing or that orb.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. now I'm like, what do I do? Okay, so I was wondering if my character would know that you are, what is it called?
Order of Dracul.
Yeah, if you're Order of Dracul or not.
Yeah, I think you would by now. I've been very secretive about it.
Okay. Then I'm gonna bring it up then. So I found this. And she like holds out like this little beaded necklace.
Oh. What is it?
You taking a look at it? It's the beaded rosary she pulled out from the corpse of the boy. And if you just take a look at the cross, you immediately see Lancia Sanctum. That is not normal. Like, it's not a normal rosary. It's a Lancia Sanctum rosary.
Oh, right. These are the religious nuts. Yeah.
It was on that little boy's corpse.
The kid.
Yeah.
Huh. That's weird as shit.
I think Cal stole his scarf.
That's also weird as shit, but predictable because it's Cal.
Yeah. What do you think it means?
Why would some mortal kid get buried with a vampire rosary?
I think there's more to it. I think we should go back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I feel like those Nosferatu we met knew more than they were letting on to.
Yeah, but they're not going to be willing to talk to us without information.
Well, we can always trade who we know were involved, right?
True.
I mean, we've got Sinclair, we've got the Prince apparently involved, we've got Lancia Sanctum. Is that not, I don't understand how this works. Is that not good enough?
With my knowledge of occult and politics, what would I think is valuable information for them?
Basically, everything that Jimmy just said is if they don't know, like, who's involved, what's going down, like, that stuff would be valuable to know. Just, you also would know, giving out that information to Nosferatu, if it got out that you slipped them this information and that information fell into the wrong hands and it screwed up anything, then, I mean, it could be your heads on a pike for it. I mean, that's if that information got out, and with Nosferatu, you know they're kind of information hoarders in the first place, so is it likely to get out? Unlikely, unless they're working, like, again, everything that you tell a Nosferatu comes with a risk, basically. Is it going to get out or is it not? Certain information has more value than others, but it's a risk you have to be willing to take, more or less.
Well, I think we should be careful, whatever we do. I mean, what do we want to know from them exactly?
I don't know, but I just feel like this couldn't have all happened on their turf without them knowing. And I feel like we don't have a lot of friends right now. And we could really use some friends.
As she bites down into this guy's neck.
And she's like, I don't know. Seems like friends are hard.
Yeah.
How do you make friends with a Nosferatu?
I have no idea.
Mousy.
Well, Callie likes arms, but they didn't like arms.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna make friends. Maybe at least just, like, not enemies.
But they're already not enemies. Well, that we know of.
I don't know. I feel like everybody's an enemy. I feel like we don't meet very many friendly other vampires. I mean, I know that's kind of depressing, but that's all I got.
I don't know. All the vampires I've met so far have been, well, most of them have been friendly.
Well, maybe we should just give it a shot.
Okay.
She keeps drinking.
Sure. So the plan for you guys is head to the graveyard after you're done basically eating that night. No problem. That's fine. Scott, over the course of the first 2 nights, you get no response. Doesn't get back to you. Doesn't do anything. And you said you want to talk, right? That's what.
Actually, I said, could we meet?
Could we meet?
It was
Right,
clearly like a request. It wasn't meant to be. It was clearly meant to be like subservient. You know what I mean? Like, could we
Right.
meet?
Yeah. Of course. Makes sense. First couple nights, you don't get a response. Do you get impatient or do you continue waiting?
Actually, I was going to say, if on the 3rd day, if I don't get a response near the end of that day, I would say something. I don't know what.
Sure. So we'll get basically everything's going to culminate on the 3rd night then for the two of you going to the graveyard and Varys. So Varys, you are in your apartment. Say it's like midnight. You're walking back and forth, waiting for a response, and then eventually you hear a on your door. I don't know if you could hear that. That was a knock.
I don't know, do I pace?
Whatever it is you're doing. Are you brooding in the corner, polishing your blade, like whatever it is you're doing, edgelord Dante? Like, tell me what you eventually hear a knock on your door.
So I'll just go over and open the door. You know what I mean?
A gentleman in a suit stands there, and he just looks at you and Varys.
I nod and then I walk away from the door to go and get my sword and gun from where they're hidden, and
Sure.
I put my gun where it usually is. I'll just hold my sword in my hands and just kind of walk to follow him.
Yep, and he does gesture you. It eventually leads you to a car that is going to chauffeur you off to a location. The windows are very, very, very tinted on the inside. You can't see out. You don't know where you're going. You can't see where they're driving you. That doesn't come as a huge surprise to you. Mr. Sinclair has been. You've only seen this guy in his office one time. The only time you've ever seen him, rather, has been in the study. You've never seen him outside of the house. So this makes sense in vampire society, as annoyingly to Varys is overly secretive and overly political. So while this may not surprise you, it probably annoys the ever-living hell out of you. Eventually, you do pull up to a different apartment building, another equally as nice apartment as where Mr. St. Clair lives, though this is an apartment, not a house. And there's a couple people standing outside. Seems to be very, very well guarded. Eventually, you're ushered on the inside, and much like the last one, you are to the very first room. This time on your left is where you're put. But this is a much smaller room. It is not a study by any stretch. There's a desk with a computer that is off, a couch and a chair, and it just kind of looks like what a modern study maybe for just a normal person. Couple of books here and there, but not nearly as elaborate, I guess. You're ushered in. Whether you sit down or not is up to you. The door is shut, and a few minutes pass before the door opens, and Mr. St. Clair walks in, and then shuts the door behind him. Much like every time you've ever met him, dressed to the nines. The dude is on point, looks great, and unlike most times, he does not have his flamboyant smile, nor does he have his jest. Doesn't seem overly excited, I guess, as he has in the past. He walks in, nods, and it says, Varys, out of the 4 of you, I expected to see you the least. Well, maybe Caligari, and he kind of chuckles. But other than that, she likes my books, at least. You wanted to meet.
So when he says like that, blah, 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 I'll walk in. Is there a spot for me to sit, or is it?
There's a couch, there's a chair. He doesn't gesture. It's not nearly as formal as it's ever been with him before.
Okay. And he's standing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll go over. I'll just stand in front of him, normal distance, whatever it is. And I'll say, people are complex things.
He looks to you, expecting more.
So I wanted to have words with you about everything that happens.
Again, Varys.
I'm not asking for answers.
Then what are you looking for, Varys?
There's a structure here. I'm not super familiar with it. Yeah, I could find a book and I could read the book and figure it out. And sure, it'll be in some sort of strange, archaic code for how things work. But there's a structure here, same as there is in any well-set organization, same as there was in the military. I understand the way things work. I'm looking for work. And I don't want to go researching who it is that I find out I'm supposed to do work for when it's probably just going to bring me right back to this apartment.
When you say that, and he actually, an audible chuckle escapes his lips. I'm not the only one with power here, Barris. Any number
I'm not
of
an idiot. I get that. But also, if I were to go directly to somebody else, it would look as though I'm plotting against you. And considering my actions in the past couple of days could probably get me in a lot of trouble, despite the fact that the prince knows what's going on. Not everybody else does. Little bits of information leaked out without the whole context, and I'm easily on the most wanted list. I'm here looking for work from you.
He takes in your words and he nods along with some of the things you're saying. And I'm not stupid. You could be trying to worm your way into my ranks to stab me from the back instead of the front. But I'm more interested in one question, Barris. Are you looking to be an errand boy again?
More than that. But I understand that every job has its entry-level position.
That is
However,
true.
I put forward my resume to skip the line a bit.
He takes a step forward. No. I want to hear you say it. Tell me, Mr. Sinclair, I'm willing to be an errand boy again.
Mr. Sinclair, I'm looking to be an errand boy again, sir.
He
And
nods.
I say that, and it's very stringent, like back straight and feet together.
Yeah.
Very, very well practiced.
He
And no expression on the face.
He walks over and he actually gently pats you on the forehead, and then he turns and he says, "I'll be in contact," and then he leaves the room.
I'll then, once again, because I'm obviously mocking the whole scenario, I'll actually give like a salute, and then I'll turn and I'll walk out the door as I've practiced ever so much before.
Sure, absolutely. And chat, no, dominate wasn't used on him. I would have made rolls if that was necessary.
I know they're like dominating.
Dominate in a different
I don't
way,
think that's what
maybe.
they meant. Yeah, I don't think they meant there was magic used.
All right, and so he leaves. Like I said, he says, "I'll be in contact," with a smile and back to his flamboyant nature, and he spins and he leaves the room. Jimmy and Emmy, we'll cut to you. As the car pulls up to where you parked it before, and the lights go out, and you're at the gate of the graveyard you once were. Do you guys what is your plan? Do you just head in and go to where the globe was, or what's your initial first steps here?
I want to go to the orb, and then I want to. I kind of want to check out the mausoleum thing again.
Okay, no problem. But Jimmy, do you just stay? Were you guys going together, basically wherever?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna
cool.
stick with Emmy and let her do the investigatey, check aroundy part, and then I'm gonna head out with her when we go to find the Nosferatu.
Okay. The two of you make your way over to the statue, and there the lady, the weeping lady, is sitting there with her hand over her face and the arm outstretched. However, the globe is not there. The globe is missing. If you do a quick look around, there doesn't seem to be shards of glass anywhere. Or...
I want to touch the lady's hand, and I would like to try to find the moment where someone took it.
Okay, and what ability is that again? Is that Auspex?
No, it is my spirit touch.
Spirit touch, which is the third. It is a third point in Auspex. Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's wits, occult, and aspects.
Do it up.
Yeah, let's do it up.
Do it.
2 successes.
Sure. And you're looking specifically for the memory of when, I'm assuming you said the glass orb was taken? Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
what you're looking for?
specifically looking for that memory.
Sure.
So I go up and I'm...
Absolutely. So
Can I actually reach the...
you can reach the base of the statue. I mean, it's all connected. You're just looking.
Oh, okay.
It's all one object. So while Emmy is short, you can still touch like her foot, more or less, of the weeping lady. And as always, her eyes cloud over. Jimmy, you've seen this 1,000 times, and she starts seeing flashes of memories. You actually do see the glass orb in her hand. It's blurry, and you see the words lighting up, but the words themselves are ineligible to you in this particular memory. However, over time, as you start the nights, like the moon quickly goes by and all of a sudden the sun is up and the sun quickly goes by and the moon is up again. On that night, you see a creepy hand kind of reach up and very slowly go dink, 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 dink all around the glass globe and just kind of awkwardly grab it and peel it up. And you can see the body of a hunched figure, can't see details, holding this now globe. And then all of a sudden you see it kind of climb down off the statue and scamper off into the long grass.
Well,
And then
I
you
wasn't
snap out of
expecting
it.
to be here anyway, but it looks like maybe one of the Nosferatu got it.
I guess that's convenient.
I don't think they're gonna give it up.
Dude. I bet we could trade them for it.
What would we trade them?
I bet we could trade them for it.
Maybe. I kind of want to check out that where Pope was again. I wasn't myself when we were there, but maybe I can see if I see any memories. How he got in there?
Can we go back to that?
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome to. So you actually head over to the mausoleum, and the lock is still clawed and on the ground. You know, the door is still swung open. As you kind of walk in, the tomb cover is still off to the side. It seems like, for the most part, nothing here was disturbed. You're not quite sure if any of the stained glass window has been taken, because there's still bits scattered all over the floor. Other than the part that obviously Caligari took and took for herself for the bits. There's still shards of glass all over the ground. And did you guys? I can't remember. Did you guys take the dusted Lionel, or did you leave him the dust there?
Yeah, I did.
You took it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that's.
I think you took most of him. Did you take it all?
I think
I was sure you took
Barris
as
put the rest in the box.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I assume you cleaned up as best you could in what limited time that you had there. Everything looks undisturbed, but like I said, everything looks like it's how you left it that night, as far as you can remember.
Okay. It's gonna be really creepy. But Emmy gets into the coffin thing
Sure.
and closes her eyes.
You're trying to like read the memory of the coffin?
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy and I
Confirmed
think
creepy.
difficult, but that's fine. Go ahead and make your roll. I'm just gonna.
5 successes.
That's an exceptional success.
Holy
So, what are you looking
fucking
for
shit.
specifically?
Specifically, how Pope got in there.
How Pope got in there? Okay.
Yeah, and anything that's relevant to that.
That's amazing, because you're stretching back a long ways.
Yeah.
Kudos.
It knew, like Nika said. I just had to get into it, literally.
Yeah, quite literally.
I was
Sorry,
like, this is
just
gonna be
double
real creepy, but
Just double checking one thing. Okay, that's just for contested stuff. Cool,
I
cool,
like
cool.
how Jimmy's just walking around with this little girl in the graveyard.
I just
last-
feel like Jimmy's done weirder shit than this.
Last time I did that, cops bothered me, so you know.
Me too. That's a fun memory. We were just going for a walk, man. It was the dumbest thing. Oh God. Anyway,
Wait, what? Oh yeah.
very, very
no,
short-
Wait, I heard about this.
yeah, short story. Long story short, me, Scott, and my girlfriend at the time went walking into a graveyard. It had a walking path. It wasn't like some creepy graveyard. It was like walking path.
They were old people with dogs and parents with kids in strollers. It was normal.
They thought that
Completely
Delric
normal.
was an older person.
Yeah, so some dude called the
I called
cops.
a pedophile.
Yeah, some dude called the cops on us, and the cops showed up and borderline arrested us as they separated all three of us and started interviewing us each individually. It was dumb.
They had our licenses and they called me a pedophile. I'm like 6 months older than him. He's like less than 2 years older than her.
It's so
Like,
dumb.
We're the same fucking age. Like what?
Yeah. It's stupid. Anyway, beside the point. So you lay into the grave, and your eye.
Face is like, what?
It's
It's
dumb.
not my fault that
I've already
Mathas
heard
looks
this
10.
story.
Still at 32. Mathas looks
31. Hold up.
Yeah.
31.
How long
Anyway.
ago was this?
Oh, I was 20, like a decade ago at least.
No,
Okay,
we
so-
were all legal to drink.
Okay, 21.
Okay.
No more than
Because then you
21.
got plowed after that. That is
No.
fucked up.
Well, we went. No, this is the kicker. After that, we were like, we need to go get ice cream because that was stressful. We got blocked in by the cops. Like,
Oh my gosh.
we got
that's
we got
horrible.
blocked in by the cops, and they were going through my wallet
I
and all
didn't
this
hear
other stuff.
Part.
Fucked
I did
up.
not hear the
After
ice
that,
part.
my parents and I went to the police station and filed so many because they took a bunch of shit from my car.
Yeah, they took your-
illegally searched my car, took a bunch of shit. I had to
Wait,
file
what did they take
complaints.
from your car?
I literally got back home from camping that morning, and when I go camping, because there's like bears and shit, I brought a couple of, protective swords with me. I literally brought like throwing daggers and throwing hatchets for fun. And then I also had a sword with me because I figure if a bear is going to eat me, I'm going to make its fucking day miserable.
He's gonna
And so
turn
I
into
had this in my
Barris and
car,
murder people.
And they took it, and then
Okay,
I also
did not
had
hear
a
this part. I did not hear that you had weapons in your car. Also,
I also had a book that, because my girlfriend at the time's father was a professional bookbinder, he made a very special book for me using the same method that they used to use for making parchment like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And so he made me this special like journal effectively that was made of it, and they kept it. They took it and they kept that too as like evidence. And so we filed all those reports and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, I own a house in that same city now, and the cop that gave us a whole bunch of shit and everything later on helped me out with the situation I was dealing with my neighbors throwing trash in my yard. They had no clue who I was, but I knew exactly who they were, so it was pretty funny.
No, you forgot about part 2, where we went to go get ice cream because we were so stressed out. On the way home, we got pulled over again, and they called.
That's right.
And they called a prisoner transport vehicle. On top of that,
As the backup car, because there's always
Yeah.
2 cars and you get pulled over.
yeah, and
That's
they pulled
right.
us over again. And one of the cops that pulled us over was the same cop from the graveyard. So I'm like, there's no way this is a coincidence. Like,
wait, why did he pull you over again?
because one of us, me, made eye contact with him apparently on the drive, and I looked suspicious.
Yeah.
Oh
So they whipped
my
around. We were on
God.
Pleasant Street. They whipped
What
around on Pleasant
the
Street and they pulled us over on County Street. But the backup car
On
was a
Pleasant.
was a sheriff's transport vehicle.
Yeah.
And
they-
I so forgot about.
And they were asking me if I was on drugs or whatever. I'm like, take my blood, dude. Like, I'm not on anything.
Like, I'm literally eating ice cream.
Yeah, we went out to Friendly's for a couple of Sundays because we were stressed out from that whole like 2-hour cop experience. I'm just,
That is like
my
adorable.
God. That's why I was like,
walking
So-
around.
I'm
Nope.
really glad that you guys told this story again because I've heard this story before, but I did not hear the ice cream part.
the ice cream or the weapons.
yeah.
Ice cream with the weapons in the car.
Oh, and they accused Scott of doing druidic shit in the graveyard because he had D&D books in his trunk.
And they
Wait,
asked
did
if I was a
you-
necromancer. And they asked if that journal was my Necronomicon. Which I was like, hey,
They did.
Points for seeing Evil Dead. Points for seeing Evil Dead. But still, come on.
Well,
Feels
Now
like
I have
the
to know if
universe
they're
was-
just fucking with you or like what.
they were doing both. They were easily doing both.
I live in
Yeah.
a smaller city. Like I live in a small. It's a city technically, but it's a smaller city. And you know how it is with small city cops. They get bored, and there was an opportunity to pick on kids. So they had their fun. I'm not saying everyone's that way, but it happens, and it was no harm, no foul. I lost weapons that I don't need anyways. So
Yeah,
legal
look.
to purchase in mass, not legal to own.
I go to cemeteries sometimes and like looking like this and no one fucks with my shit. Like I feel a little sheepish about it because I'm just like, oh god.
No, because the cops didn't show up out of nowhere. Some old guy called them and said we were looking and acting suspicious. So they were doing
Well,
their
you
job.
say some
but-
old guy. I don't think they gave us a who call. Someone said that.
No, the
there's-
guy who called on us was there with the cops. He helped
I-
block us into the road.
I don't recall that one at all because there were
do.
3 cop cars.
Yep.
Because I remember being like, why is there a cop behind me? That's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, another one's in
Yeah,
front of
we-
me, so I'm going to have to go down this road. Oh, this road is not a road. I have to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to be hitting graves. What is going on? Now
They
they all
didn't
have
have
lights
lights
on.
on?
Why are you driving down
We
that
did
road?
have our no. They
didn't have their
No,
lights
I'm
on.
saying they didn't
Oh
have their
no,
lights.
there was no like
and then,
sirens
and then they
or
asked me,
anything.
why are you driving down this road? And I'm like, this is literally barely even 1 car wide. It's a graveyard. It's a small graveyard.
Yeah, it was funny.
whatever.
Funny
Living
now,
weird.
stressful then. I remember he was
Yeah.
patting me down. I was farting all over his hand because I was so nervous. Yeah.
I remember that. I wasn't gonna say it.
I don't get it. No shame. I was so fucking scared. All right, we're gonna take a break.
Like loud audible,
Like, did you
like
hear it?
audible farting.
I just remember farting. That's all I remember. I was just farting all over him.
Oh my god!
Because I've never been patted down in my life. Like I'm up against the car. He's like patting me down like I did something horrible. Anyway, thank you guys. We'll be back. We can take a break here. We'll get back here in a minute, and we'll see you shortly. Bye bye.
Hey, kid. The loss of Cam Newton.
You know what sucks about like being sick? You have pumpkin spice coffee and you can't smell it.
That is unfortunate. Welcome back, everybody. We're back.
Oh.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
I was gonna show you my pumpkin spiced pumpkin seeds.
Ooh.
I know.
I'm in.
Double pump. They were actually
I
really
probably
good.
can't smell those either.
I got them because I thought it was ridiculous, and then like years later, I go back and they're there again. And I'm like, yeah.
Normally this smells so good, and right now I'm just like, I literally can't.
Isn't that just like cinnamon, nutmeg, like allspice, and maybe coriander?
I added
like-
extra cinnamon.
Ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg,
Ginger.
allspice,
Yeah, coriander.
sugar, and butter.
Yeah,
Pickles.
okay, there you go.
Just put it all together. Anyway, it's fucking delicious.
And then you put it in your
I
mouth.
bet.
Put it in
Back.
your mouth.
We're back.
We're back.
Her motherfucker. Oh,
Back.
no,
Hopefully
not that song?
You've
Okay.
seen Mathas's LARPing photo if you
Mhm.
haven't yet.
I LARPed
Go to
pretty
Twitter.
hardcore for like 3 or 4 years.
I just can't believe that the cops pulled you guys over. The story just keeps
Mathis.
getting better. I was dying. I
What's
don't
up?
know
What's
what
up?
I want you to come down here and LARP with us in North Carolina
I want
sometime.
to come LARP.
It's all like Marines and shit because there's so many military bases.
Oh man.
It's fucking crazy.
How
You
hard?
get into a
How
sword fight
expensive is
with
it?
Like a dead-eyed stick.
Oh, then I
jockey.
lose. Like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
You
What's
just
the
run
point?
the fuck away.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm good with
I've
that.
actually never LARPed before. Never.
I
Like, aside from like
Really?
friends in the woods with
Really?
sticks,
You
I've
would-
never gone to
you
a
would
LARPing
love
event.
you have to find the
You
right
love-
LARP. You have to find the right
Like,
LARP
you
because
have to
there's
understand, I've converted like so many people from never knowing what a tabletop was into playing tabletops, and they've converted others and da 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 da. da. And they've literally every one of them have gone LARPing. Every single one of them.
the
I
reason
have never LARPed.
the reason I loved that LARP
Even
specifically.
Nick's gone LARPing.
I know. The reason I loved
They
that
do
LARP.
werewolves and vampire LARPing groups too.
Yeah, they're at every convention I ever go to. Like,
I've never LARPed.
it's fun.
We have to
It's really
go.
fun. The
Nika,
LARP.
you've never LARPed either?
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great though. All right.
Is that like a,
So like
Very
the LARP,
fixable.
the LARP I went to, I loved. It was like expensive, but there was always like 200 players and like 400 cast, and it ran all weekend in they rented out an entire campsite for the event, and they just decorated the hell out of it. But
Fucking
what
bonkers.
made it great is that this particular LARP that I went to, they had a costume requirement. Like you couldn't just you couldn't throw on like sweats and turn a t-shirt inside out and be like,
No.
I'm a murder hobo. You know what I mean? Like they needed, like if you were going to play like an elf, for instance, like you needed the ears and you needed to look the part. And if you weren't, they wouldn't let you in because they wanted
also,
to be able
they
to.
have like weapon checks normally.
Yep,
so
weapon
you-
checks every single
like-
time. Yep.
like
my
weapons that won't hurt anybody.
my homemade boffer sword got declined like 4 times before it finally got through. Yeah, no, like it was a high quality LARP, and I've been to other LARPs that are low quality LARPs, and those are boring and frustrating, and I hate them.
I
don't do
can't.
those.
I want to see what it's like because I am a master of breaking character and
Mm.
I would be terrible. I would be having so much fun and feeling like I don't really know what I'm doing right now. So like it would be so I think I would ruin it.
fun.
And I want to see a little bit about what it's like so that I can kind of know, but it's oh my god.
You could be one of those people that never leave base camp. Just like sits around and just
Yeah.
like drinks and hangs out all day.
Yeah,
Never
well,
leaves
that's what my
base camp. Never
character
goes on the
might do.
quests.
No, there was a
No, there's
lot
a
of.
bunch of people that do that.
There's
Yeah.
That's not
people-
abnormal.
You
That's
can play
not
an
abnormal.
NPC too, or like
Yeah.
play a couple NPCs.
Yeah,
and,
if
like,
you wanted to,
That would be a shitty NPC.
like if you were part of cast and NPC, like that was free. You didn't have to pay to do that, and they provide you with the costumes and everything, and they send you out and tell you what your role is and what you're looking to do. Sometimes they just send you out as like, you're just a drunk out for fun tonight, and you want to go drink, and that's what you're
Yes.
going to do. But they were all a bunch of player characters who that's what they did. They literally sat around the tavern, they drank, and they made money either gambling or whatever, and that was just that was their thing.
Okay, no, I really want to go to one now because that's what I want to do. I want to hang out with like
It's fun.
that because it requires like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I cast a magic spell. It's gonna be like, nah, bitches, like I know how to drink.
That's
For
it.
reals,
great.
though.
For
This is great.
reals, though. Anyway, we should get back to the game. Anyway, we're back. We leave off
So
with,
I got 5 successes.
Yes,
and
yes,
I'm
yep.
laying in a coffin right now.
and she's trying to see you. The memory you're specifically looking for is one of Pope getting into and being put in a torpor. Correct?
Yes.
Cool. So what you actually see is
I so forgot that's where we were. Sorry to interrupt you. I so forgot. This is so important. Go ahead. I don't even know
That's
how
what
we tangented
That's how
off
we got
of
on the
this.
tangent was because I was like, it's so creepy that freaking
Okay.
yeah,
okay,
you know, like
yeah,
he's
yeah.
walking like Jimmy's just walking around with this little girl who's climbing into.
yeah, that's
Sorry,
where the
sorry,
that's where the
sorry. Please,
tangent
Mike, please,
started.
Keep going. Keep going.
So you quickly fall into yourself, and the outside world disappears from your sight. Jimmy, I'm assuming, is standing guard, more or less, waiting for whatever it is that she does to be finished.
It's like
And-
it's fine, everything's fine, not creepy at all.
Right. So when you open your eyes, what you see is you're like hovering just above the casket. And if you take a quick look around the area, you realize you're not in the mausoleum whatsoever. You're very clearly in some room, whether it's an apartment, you can't tell. When you look out the windows, you don't see anything. It's dark outside, and you can't really see much. And the room is lit by candles, dictating that there's
A lot of candles,
like-
or just like enough.
enough, like a regular amount of candles. When you look around, you realize there's no light switch, there's no lights, there's no TV. And Emmy, maybe it takes a little while because she's so young, but you realize that you're not in modern era. You're not in the modern time anymore. You're very much back in maybe 1800s, 1700s, whenever whatever information you got told you when he was put in a torpor would fit. And what you're able to see is very clearly Raphael Pope in the outfit that you found him in, standing there speaking to somebody. That person seems to be having a conversation with them, and you can hear the conversation, but it's more like the person that Mr. Pope is speaking to is more asking like, "Are you sure this is what you want to do? Are you sure this is what we need to do?" And Pope kind of is very reassuring, and he seems to be very much in a hurry. Like, yes, we need to do this. We need to do this tonight, and we need to get this. We need to get me to the place I'm supposed to be as soon as possible. And after a deep breath, like the other guy kind of agrees, and you see Raphael Pope lay himself down in the casket that is on the floor. He puts himself down. He puts his hands kind of across his stomach, and looks up at the gentleman he was talking to, and nods and says, "Do it."
What does the gentleman he's talking to look like?
Nobody you recognize at all. Just like a normal human guy in 1800s attire, and doesn't bearded. He's got combed over rather long hair. Hell, does he have amazing sideburns though? Those sideburns are freaking immaculate. They stick out to you for whatever reason. But eventually, he pulls open his coat and he pulls out a wooden stake. When Raphael Pope says, "Go ahead and do it," and you see him lean down and lift the stake up over his head, and then just jam it down right onto Raphael Pope. You hear the crack of ribs and possibly the splintering of wood with a large kind of gasp of air right as it starts to pierce. But within a second, Pope's eyes close. He goes dead silent, and there's a stake just sticking out of his chest in the heart. Then all of a sudden, you see the gentleman stand up, kind of take a deep sigh, and then pick up the lid and then close it, push it like over onto it, and then that's where the memory ends.
Okay. I mean, like as she feels the thing cover over her, she gets up and she's like,
He did it to himself. Or he had someone do it to him. He wanted to be here.
So this was a plan?
I don't know, that's all I got.
Oh.
It's funny because I think this is already alluded to in game last Or
It
two
was- it
sessions
was
ago?
alluded
It was
to,
relayed. It was relayed to us.
but now it's like it's confirmed because they could have been fucking with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which at least tells you that the people who gave you the information weren't lying to you or lying to your face, which is important information to have, at least in this society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. She's like,
Why would he want to do that to himself? And he was in a hurry, like. And the other guy kept asking him, like, "Are you sure?"
I don't know, but at least we do know.
He was really sad and scared.
Well, at least
I mean,
we saved
when we
it.
woke him up, he was sad and scared.
That's also true. Yeah. Maybe he's a good person. Vampire. Thing.
What do you think they're gonna do with him?
I don't know, but I'm starting to get worried about all this.
Yeah, I don't have good feelings.
Let's go see if these Nosferatu have good feelings.
Okay.
she climbs out of the thing and follows
Sure.
him.
As you're walking over to where the long grass are, we're going to cut and go to Caligari for a minute. So Caligari, you spent nights, 3 nights so far, just piling into books and just trying to learn as much about the history of Lionel, or at least the town or the city, and maybe trying to figure out where Lionel came from. Eventually, you realize as you're going through these historical books, nobody by the name of Lionel, or at least nobody of importance by the name of Lionel, seems to pop up as you're going through these books. However, Kindred Society is not necessarily going to be found in books, or if they are, if you're going to learn anything about Kindred Society in normal mortal books, you kind of have to learn to read between the lines and learn, well, this happened, and while they say this is the cause, I know at least this, this, and this, so likely the cause was actually due to Kindred meddling, blah, 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 blah. However, as you start kind of peeling back the layers and the layers and the layers of Kindred Society and learning about Lionel and trying to figure out where this guy comes from and who he is, you can't, for whatever reason, you just can't figure out much about him specifically. However, as you dig and as you look, you do start learning things that you didn't think you'd start learning about, but you do. For one, you know the prince of this town has actually only been in power for about a decade. He is not, which is very, very short
It's super
amount
short.
of time. He has not been in power very long. You start learning why. You start pulling on that thread. Okay, well, where did this prince come from? Who is he? And you actually learn that this prince actually, through machinations that you have no full clear vision of because they're just not there, ousted the prince that was there before. And they didn't really enjoy being called a prince.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoyed being called the matriarch. The person who ran Chicago prior to Prince Maxwell was a female vampire, female kindred, and she ran this town for, at least from what you can tell, 2 centuries on
Wow.
her own. And something you're not entirely sure about, but because you weren't around for that time, but before the way politics work now, there was something called the Camarilla, prior to the way that the way princedom works now. So basically, a quick rundown for Callie, because she would know this, is each city is kind of individually controlled by their prince. And while there's kind of rules that may run parallel to other cities run by other princes and maybe make sense all the way across all cities, before the Camarilla was actually an entire government that ran all cities, and princes of those cities answered to a higher power above them. That sort of exists a little bit now, but the way it works now is much more each city is independent. And you can't get to, with only 3 nights of researching, you don't have enough details to know how the Camarilla works and exactly how each city works now. But you know there's a difference. And this matriarch actually successfully brought Chicago over from the Camarilla rule over into the way it works now relatively peacefully. Moreover, outside of it being a peaceful she was relatively peaceful when that had ended up happening. And what ended up causing that rift and why governments work differently, you don't have enough time to get that answer yet. That's going to take a lot more time. But she was overthrown rather violently by this Prince Maxwell, who was appointed to be prince after her demise by a council of elders within the city itself.
So she died. She legit.
As far as you know, yes, she's dead. She ended up being killed by being overthrown by Prince Maxwell. And she was a much more lenient ruler when it came to such things in this city, where Maxwell is way more iron fist. He very much, again, in this city, embracing is something that is not to be done without permission, period, from the prince. And even then, to get it, either you owe him a favor that you could probably never, ever truly pay back, or you've done something for him that he never would have expected to and was kind of given to you as a reward. Why does this make sense? Why is this the thread you're pulling on? How you're looking for Lionel? Why is this coming up? Why is this coming up? Why is this coming up? And the only thing you can possibly think of, the only little thread, the only time Lionel's name even remotely comes up one time in all of your research, is that somehow Lionel has worked with, or is connected somehow to the matriarch. You're not sure what the connection is. You don't know how there's a connection, but a name, Lionel, no last name, comes up once when you are looking into the history of the matriarch, the one who ran Chicago, before she was overthrown. And
not exactly the best idea to go poking into that right now, is it? Going like, oh yeah, so like it's been like 10 years. I'm doing a story about
yeah, and it's obviously random and in no other way. The other information you end up gathering is that Chicago was very, very much openly ruled when it was when we went from the Camarilla to what we have now. When she took that transfer over, the matriarch very much favored and enjoyed the company of the Lancia Sanctum specifically. That she never hid it. It was never anything that was hidden or secretive. That was who she belonged to. That was the covenant she openly belonged to, and used as their.
Those guys kind of jerks. I mean, like.
Aren't all? Isn't every covenant jerks in some way?
Yeah, but like specifically, they seem pretty jerkish.
They're super huge jerks.
I believe him. I hear that in my voice. I'm like, Jimmy, I hear just like bad jerk people. And I'm like, yeah, I get it.
So Barris is super religious.
Yeah, he is super religious. And it's surprisingly still religious, knowing that he's a vampire and undead, and none of it makes sense.
Surprisingly enough, Cal is not swayed by that. No, Barris pops up in the back of her mind. I'm religious, and she's like, yeah.
I can only imagine Callie actually has like multiple voices in her head, and she just assigns them. Like, you're Jimmy.
She will hear a couple things. Well, that's a good way to like actually function and well, no, maybe not.
But that's that's a really condensed version, obviously, of 3 days of research. First, discovering, oh, weird, Prince Maxwell's only been in power for about a decade. That's not long at all. I wonder, it's more like you weren't finding anything about Lionel, but this piqued your interest, so you started pulling on that string. And as you started pulling on that string, you learned about the matriarch. And then you learned about how she ruled, and the covenant she belonged to. And actually how she's been in control of the city for about 200 years before Maxwell came along. And oh, wait, that's Lionel's name. And then you start going through all the papers, and you're looking for another mention of Lionel at all, and you can't find one. And it's even just a passing reference to this person, Lionel, who worked with... and this is all through texts that you may have grabbed from Sinclair's books, as well as, reading between the lines and talking to contacts who may know a little bit and trading maybe information with them to get information from them. This is like Caligari in her element, but if anybody was to quickly look at Caligari or watch her for like an hour, it looks like absolute nonsense chaos as she's throwing papers around and talking to people and talking to rats and talking to herself and going from one piece of paper to another to a book, then even opening up Harry Potter for some reason because Zigzag gave me the book, maybe it's important, and that kind of thing. And that's 3 days.
I was actually gonna say that. Do you want to know how funny that was? Or it's just like, well, I gotta see what he's into, so it's like, okay, well, this is a nice little break or whatever.
Yep.
Like
No, absolutely. So like, and that's, you are 3 days of utter insane chaos. And while you may not have found exactly what you're looking for, you still pulled a string out of a tapestry only to find more strings that are all equally interesting. And
So I would want to, if I wanted to search this more among people who would, number one, know, and number two, wouldn't fucking tattle, I'd be going to Lycia Sanctum.
maybe that's definitely an option because you know that she at least belonged to that covenant. However, do you know anybody in the Lycia Sanctum? No. Do you know
I
where
used
there's
to have a mouse.
You used to have a mouse,
Used to.
and you know that church has at least had a little sanctuary underneath. You could go there. You could, talk to the rest of your party members. I mean, there's many ways you could go about it. I'm going to leave you for now, though, with that information. Let you ruminate on that, and I'm going to go back to Jimmy and Emmy for a minute and just have them deal with the Nosferatu. The two of you are walking up to the long grass, and you don't even get halfway there before one comes walking out. And it's just one this time. And it is the one that seemed to be in control or the leader of the last time. The one that was up front, relatively upright walking. And as you're walking out...
Does his hand look like the hand that grabbed the orb?
Quick look, no. You also know that the one that took the orb was like on all fours and hunched. This guy is rather upright and relatively normal looking as far as Nosferatu are concerned.
Okay.
Wearing the same clothes that he was wearing the night before, the few nights ago as well, and he comes walking out of the grass, and he just stands there and waits for you to approach, and you finally do, and he doesn't say anything. He waits for you to speak.
I would like to use my Auspex on, or my aura.
You want to read his aura? Yep. Make that roll. Make that roll. Let's hang on. Let me make sure the window is up. There we go.
Intelligence, empathy,
Okay. And then he gets a roll against. That's right.
Well, 1 success, and he has composure action.
Okay, you actually are able to get an aura off of him. The aura that you get is a light blue aura.
Okay, so he's chill.
Mm-hmm.
He's chill.
He just stands there and he's just looking at the two of you rather expectantly.
Emmy kind of looks at Jimmy and she's like,
Well, Jimmy, here's your chance.
So, how you doing?
What do you want?
Wow. Polite conversation really is dead these days. So, what I have to say is, sorry to encroach upon your lovely graveyard again for another consecutive night. I just had a couple questions that I was hoping you could answer, including, has anyone been back coming up after what we did?
He doesn't answer. You owe us answers. We cleaned up your fucking mess. And he gestures to where the bodies were left.
Okay, that's fair.
Who do you work for?
Okay, I think you know how this works.
I know exactly how this works.
Kind of a tit for tat thing, so...
Now you pay me back for cleaning up your fucking mess.
You're gonna owe me change, because I've really only got large bills here. Does this make sense?
Who do you work for?
Can you at least tacitly, like in a vague way, tell me that you understand what I just said to you?
I know how this works better than you ever will. Yes. Who do you work for?
Mr. Sinclair sent us.
Doesn't seem like any recognition, nor does he look confused. People have been by, yes.
Good. Wait, people? Or, like our people?
Didn't get close enough to find out.
Okay. So, do you know anything about what went on?
Who did you take out of that tomb?
No idea.
He doesn't say anything.
Do you know who we took out of that tomb?
If I did, I wouldn't ask you.
That is a very honest answer. See, I appreciate that. Now we're getting somewhere.
You are?
I'm working here.
At this point, Emmy's like sitting on top of a tombstone, like wiggling her feet.
Shh, Daddy's working. No.
Okay, so I'd like you to deal with me here on this one, all right?
I'm trying, Beast.
Great. We're off to a great start. We understand where each other are coming from.
You left the one that would know half of anything behind, so I'm dealing with the Beast.
She's busy.
I expect her to be. What's the question again?
What do you know?
What do you
You
want?
tell us what you know.
I know you
tell
came
you-
into my graveyard. I know you killed a bunch of people. I know we cleaned up after you, and I know you grave robbed that mausoleum over there and smashed the windows for some reason. I have more questions than you.
We've got
All my
enough-
time being here, shit like that doesn't happen, and I've been here a long time. We get trespassers now and again and young kindred who think they owe themselves the world coming in here, and we have to teach them a lesson, but that's it. But one night, we get two groups of people, one kindred and one mortal, both looking for something. One of the parties die, and then the other one goes and digs up a grave and then robs a tomb. And you're working for Mr. Sinclair.
Yes.
And you're trying to tell me you don't know who that was that you took out of that graveyard.
I have a name.
Listen,
I've got a name, and it's not even on the tomb anywhere.
give me the name.
Pope.
Kindred, then.
Yes.
4 of you walked in, 5 of you walked out. Alive. Whoa, Maya, you got the zoomies. Goodness. Making me sorry. She's sprinting around the room.
All I saw was a tail.
Yeah, she's like flying around. 4 of you walked in. I don't know if you, she's zooming around like a crazy cat. I'll try that again. 4 of you walked in, 5 of you walked out. We've been here.
Yes.
We've been here a long time, and no one's ever gone in and out of that mausoleum in that time.
I mean, I wouldn't really expect someone to come out of the mausoleum.
Yeah, and as give me a second. I'm watching frames drop right now, and just want to make no, it's not stabilizing. Yep. Comcast is fucking itself.
Comcast, no.
Stop it.